Doing this for free, my friends, because I want to connect with you and have you understand that if your strategy for 2017 to sell more and to earn more money is to simply work harder, you're dead. There's a wonderful old book, you should all read it, I wish I had a copy here, Maria, called U Squared by Price Pritchard. And inside this book, the opening story really tells the story that most people have. Guy sitting in a cabin up in Toronto, you know, overlooking the lake, so, you know, north of Toronto, and he notices this fly sitting at the windowsill, and we've all seen this before, zzz, right, the fly banging its eyes and its head against the windowsill, desperately trying to get outside, but the only thing the fly does is try harder, over and over and over, punching itself into the windowsill. It can see its goal, right? But it just keeps smacking the glass. And as the guy sitting there, you know, on his bed, sees this tiny little insect, sees this beautiful little creature staking its life on one strategy, try harder, one strategy, try harder, that fly is doomed. That fly dies. You've seen it, I've seen it every time. And yet, the guy acknowledges that just 2 feet away, there's a door sitting wide open. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Why doesn't the fly just simply look around and see what's going on around me? Let's try something new. My friends, my hope, Heather's hope, all of us, my team, her team at Relola, the hope is that as you sit with me today, or you're taking notes on your iPad, or you're playing with me on Facebook, or you're just listening live in your car, I don't know, that you understand that if you staked your 2017 goals and dreams and ambitions on a strategy called Try Harder, all you're going to do is work more. We need to make strategic adjustments in order to win. Now, Heather, I don't know your group, but I know my group pretty well. I ask a lot of questions. So here's the question I have for all of you. If your strategy is try harder, which it is for 90% of us, right? The questions I have is, what could you do differently to unlock the potential of your business? Think about that question. What could you do differently to unlock the potential of your business? Or how could I just stay more top of mind with my database? Heather, I don't know, I'm sure you've read the same report. I see the same report. The Burrell report that basically states, my friends, it's the mashup of how many dollars are spent every year in the residential real estate space, online and offline, designed, listen to me very carefully, to get your customers, your database, your clients, and your relationships to go to their website, their solution, call their 800 number, respond to their deal. $15 billion a year is spent, my friends, to win the hearts and minds of real estate buyers and sellers every single year, and the number's only growing. And the question is trying harder going to combat that? Is trying harder going to actually make sure that your friends, the people in your database, the buyers that you've met, the people that you've been nurturing, and even the leads that you've been buying online, which I'm a huge proponent of, that they stay top of mind with you? I also wrote down, how can I intelligently, listen to this question, I love questions. How can I intelligently share with everyone I know my experience and expertise on the most popular platforms? Maria's using my phone, I was going to show you my phone, that we're all on all the time. Think about the question. How can I intelligently share with everyone I know my experience and expertise on the most popular platforms that people are looking at all day, every day anyway, to stay top of mind? I also wrote down another question, number 4. How can I generate more referrals and more direct transactions from my database? How can I generate more referrals and more direct transactions from my database? Now, for some of you, you can jump right now. You got enough. Because some of us, you just have the question asked and your mind activates and you're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. But stay with me. I'm only 4 minutes in, 5 minutes in. What I want to do is I want to share with you 3 fundamental strategies that I'm proposing for you and everyone I know. I want to share with you 2 very specific tactics. I'm going to give you 1 ridiculously cool script. And if time permits, Heather, and I got to be mindful of time, I'm going to share with you one secret that if you just do the one secret, it's going to be bananas. You're going to get 4 more listings in the next 90 days. Like, it's that good. So stay with me, play with me, allow me to ask some questions, allow me to be your coach, allow me to be your guide. But in fairness, I was thinking, Heather, you and I have gotten to know each other very well. I know the team at Relola. I'm very blessed. I get to work with the Zillows of the world, Dotloop, Boomtown, most of the major platforms, all the great brands. I'm very blessed. What I know is this. What I know is, for the vast majority, you probably don't know who I am. So when I share with you these 3 strategies, let me just give you a little context. It's not often that I say to people, look, this is important. But I was writing down Maria, I'm talking to Maria, my assistant, who was right behind me, or right in front of me. I was talking to Maria, like, last night I was writing down, preparing for this, that in 2006, I got like 700-ish clients on a conference call like this. In 2006, remember what was going on in 2006? And I said, hi, I want to introduce you to a buddy of mine. He's the CEO of this bank, and he has 1,400 REO assets, and he's looking for agents to get him out to. And overnight, I started getting my clients listings, and you can imagine the impact of that. In 2006, it was great. 7, it was amazing. 2008 and 9, it was the difference between life or death for many of those people. In 2007, I got aggressive on short sale, right? And not because it was going to be the market, but it was going to be a segment of the market. And I believe, probably as you do, that relationships matter. And as we move through the cycles of real estate, I have to be the expert to support my clients, whether we're in an up market, a down market, or a flat market. So yes, I was early in 2007, but again, by 2009, a lot of people were very happy that I pushed them into this. Another example, in 2008, 9, and 10, I basically told every person in every seminar I traveled to in the US, buy every zip code and impression you can get on Zillow. And I remember watching people's reaction. Oh, Zillow, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up. Listen, the people are going to the sites. The way they're doing it is different from Trulia and Realtor.com and everybody else. And a lot of those agents today are now spending, I was with one yesterday, $20,000 a month. And you say, well, God, it's $240,000 a year. Right, you can add, that's good, you can add. But she made $1.2 million from that. So that's a good arbitrage of ad spend to conversion to revenue. My point is, my friends, whether it was that or reviews or mapping, I've just been blessed to be able to push enough people, hopefully like you today, to be a little ahead of the curve, to be a lot more strategic, to ultimately just position you and your business so as you are working a little bit harder, that you're working a lot more intelligently about how buyers and sellers are deciding today. So I actually wrote down, thinking about those 3 strategic changes, a question for you, a question. And I want to make sure, I'm looking at I have so many things I want to share. So this is where you might want to take some notes, because I'm going to give you some nitty gritty. So if you're listening live, it's easier just sitting in a conference room. Hopefully you're sitting with a bunch of your friends in your office on Facebook and you're with me live. Here's my first question. Have you asked yourself recently what's important to a home buyer, or like a shopper for either an agent or for a home, or thinking about selling my home? If you do the same things I do, you study this stuff all the time. You're looking at what everybody's writing, and here's what I know. So I want you to write this down. Like, the question is, what's important to a home shopper, whether buying or selling? What's important? You look at all the consumer data, and I'm going to give you some quotes and some numbers, and you can go do your research as well. But here's what I know. Number 1, consumers want an expert, not a generalist. An expert, not a generalist. Now, I was thinking about a friend of mine, and for sake of privacy, he is a brain surgeon, right? So I don't need to say his name. He's a great Newport Beach guy, and anybody from Southern California, if you've ever been in that position, knock on wood, I hope you never have to, but the guy does 15 brain surgeries a week. He said, Tom, the reason why I make the money that I make is I chose a level of expertise, that I do something that's so specific, so precise. I am the master of this, versus the hundreds of thousands of doctors that make, $70,000 to $80,000 a year, because they're a dime a dozen. There's just a lot of them. And you and I both know in real estate it's the same thing, right? The old 80-20 principle really doesn't apply as much. It's more like 95-5 when you look at the MLS and you really talk about maybe you, the cream of the crop, versus everybody else. So expert versus generalist. The second thing I wrote down is experience. The consumer wants experience. So I wrote down this question. Do you have a display of your map of your transactions, your experience as an example, or homes you previewed, which we're going to talk about today because that's super important? Do you have that on every social media site? Can I go to your Facebook page? Could I go to your Instagram page? If you went to one of my clients, Jill Biggs, the Jill Biggs group in Hoboken, New Jersey, and you looked at her Instagram page, you would see a recent post where she said basically, here's Manhattan and here's Hoboken, New Jersey, and all the Jill Biggs transactions that she's done. She posts that on Instagram. She puts it in direct mail. It goes on her Facebook page. It's absolutely on our website. And what do we know? What we know is consumer behavior. They see a map, and what they see is proof. They see your proof. Now, I know some of you are like, Tom, I'm a brand new agent. I don't have all those transactions. I have a solution for you. I'm just getting started here. Know this: expertise and experience matter. Number 3, social proof. We're going to talk about reviews today and how we are in a review-based culture, and that when 2 agents go on an appointment, when a consumer is selecting an agent today, and we're going to get to those stats in a second, when a consumer is selecting agents and they see 2 agents and they're like, I know Robin, she's totally amazing. I also know Mary, she's totally amazing. Let's search their name. I go to their Facebook page, I can look at their Zillow page, and in the case of Zillow, I'm going to see their reviews. And what if I know Robin really well, but Robin has no reviews and there's no map of her transactions? Then I go to Mary over here and I see like 15 reviews, 5-star, I see her transactions. You tell me, who are you going to pick? Who are you going to select? Like when you're all by yourself on your cell phone and you got a choice, you know who you're going to select, and that's the consumer data. The last thing I wrote down is ease. How am I positioning myself with today's consumers to make it easy? I wrote down, in the old days, an enormous percentage, I've been doing this for 28 years, so I remember we selected our agent by referral, right? Like, one of my, peers, another wonderful coach and a friend, made his entire career on telling you to only work your referrals, right? There's a challenge with that, as we all know today, but we either did that or we basically said whoever left the most swag on my doorstep, the stuff, whether it was direct mail or whatever, that person became top of mind. Well, has that changed at all? Has that changed at all? Ask yourself. I don't care if you're a brand new agent or you're one of my clients, we'll talk to you tomorrow, who's been selling real estate for 41 years. 41 years, almost as long as I've been alive. And by the way, last year she finished at $3 million in GCI, and she's 78 years old. 78 years old. She's been selling real estate almost longer than I've been alive, and yet she will tell you, if you don't adjust to the customer, you're gonna lose. If you don't adjust to the customer, you're gonna lose. You might want to quote that one. You might want to write it down. You might want to put it on your wall. Rule number 1 is know thy customer. So with that said, did you read the Zillow report? Right, Maria, how many times have I asked you to print that report? Because I print it, I read it, I write all over it, and then I meet someone and I go, have you got it? And I say, here, just read it. And I just hand it to them and say, I'll get another one. Here's what you need to do. Please write this down. Zillow says the following: the local market knowledge is the most important consideration for a buyer when selecting an agent. The local market knowledge is the most important consideration for a buyer when selecting an agent. It's funny, I was in Europe last year doing a seminar in Rome in October, and a good friend of mine, Brad Inman, you probably know of Inman News. Brad was talking to a bunch of agents from all over Europe in multiple different languages, and he was telling the story about how we bought their last house in Santa Monica, and how the first agent they met was warm and bubbly and enthusiastic and fun, but when they started asking questions about who lives here, tell us about the community, what's it all about, the agent kind of went bing, and instantaneously, Brad's a pretty savvy guy, but you know what? So's my 31-year-old nephew who just bought his first home, and so's my 25-year-old nephew who's in the middle of the home shopping process. They want the expert, right? So Zillow has the data that says the local market knowledge is the most important consideration a buyer has when selecting an agent. Now, Real Trends, my friend Steve Murray, right? Real Trends quoted, ready? 70% of buyers and 75% of sellers found their agent online. The game has changed, my friends. The strategies have changed. The consumer has changed. Real trends, 70% of buyers and 75% of sellers found their agent online. Then NAR says 92% of buyers found their home online first, not their agent. Found their home online first. So what we know is the phone is dominating the landscape today. And the question is, have you made the adjustments? NAR went on to tell us, by the way, old school, we know the average buyer takes 7 months of shopping online, 7 months of doing their research, looking at properties, looking at houses, looking all over on every one of the platforms and then some to find out their Snapchat is now trying to promote. Do you hear this, Maria? Snapchat is now trying to promote real estate. Everybody wants to be in this game. Everybody wants a piece of your database. Everybody wants your leads. Try harder. Zzz. More of the same? Zzz. Is that going to be your strategy, or are you going to make some adjustments? Make adjustments with me. So here's what I wrote down. I'm not sure if you were surprised by any of the consumer shifts that I just shared, right? The shopping patterns seem to be pretty obvious for all of us. As I reported, over 70% of all buyers and sellers found their agent online, and my prediction is that number is only going to continue to climb, and it's going to become easier and easier for consumers to not only find the agent that they like, but the agent that they know, love, trust, respect, and who is the market expert. So I wrote down, knowing all of this, what are the 3 strategic changes all of us should be making in 2017? Get your pens ready, let's write. Number 1, obvious. You got to make it your mission to double or triple the number of reviews that you're getting on your Zillow page. Hands down. Heather will tell you, I'll tell you, it is a no-brainer, right? I don't care if you don't advertise or you do. What we know is the number of reviews moves the needle because it impacts how consumers decide on you. So here's an action you can take. Now I'm going to say this as slow as I can, but this email is what our clients are using to activate old past clients and old people that they had worked with, even if they did a transaction or not, to get them to come back and write a review. So you might want to listen to this a few times. Check it out. Send them a personal email, no spamming, no group, just, Dear Maria, hi Heather. Hey, hey name, Happy New Year. Hope you and yours are still loving your beautiful home. I was thinking about the times we worked together and all that we went through and how happy I was to help you find your dream home. You got that? Ready? Hope you and yours are still loving your home. I was thinking about when we worked together, all that we went through, and how happy I was to help you find your dream home. So I'm reminding the customers in this email about the experience, having them go back through and emotionalize, oh, that's right. Then I say, if you feel the same way, would you take 3 minutes and share how the experience was on my Zillow profile? Boom, you provide a link. That's it. That's it. That's it, my friends. And when you do, your number of reviews will climb and you will see the impact that has on your business. And I always think about it like this. A good friend of mine is an infomercial producer, does 27 to 35 infomercials a year. Chuck Norris, Christy Brinkley, you name it, Thigh Master, this, that, the whole 9 yards. Brilliant online and offline television marketing guy. When I asked him about early days of infomercial and even today, he says, Tom, the bottom line is between 50 to 70% of every infomercial you see on television, short form, long form, doesn't make a difference. It's about testimonial, testimonial, testimonial. I said, why? And he said, because at the end of the day, we know when the person is selling us something versus the person that's saying, hey, look, I did it and you can too. And that, my friends, is a strategic move that will impact every area of your marketing. So how would you use that? On every direct mail piece, on your website, in your email. We have clients today that say, I'm the most reviewed agent in all of Los Gatos. And they put on how many reviews they have. It is such a measurable degree of separation. But remember, I just said to you, just don't lose your customers to everybody else. Just make sure that your customers know that you're active. Now you might be saying, but Tom, I'm newer to the business. I don't have that. I got one for you. Number 3, you're gonna love. So let's go to number 2. You ready? Write this down. Number 2, declare your expertise. Declare your expertise. I'm asking you right now in 2017 to stop being a generalist. And here's what I know. I already know, like, I'm going to see the resistance. So here's what I wrote down. If you study marketing as I do, rule number one is know thy customer. Know your customer, which means, do you have an avatar on your buyer, on your seller, on the person you're going to lease? You know, where you say, in my neighborhood, my typical buyer is they're 40, they've got 2 kids, they both work, they drive a Volvo, they like red wine, but they still go to and they shop at Costco. And like, I know my customer, and I'm shocked by how many people I talk to in business that I know why you're not an expert, because you're not willing to take the time to say, this is who my customer is. But it's not just the profile. And by the way, could the profile be high-end? Could it be second home? Could it be investor? There's a lot of different profiles, but what are you going to be the expert of? Who are you going to know and understand more than anything else in the marketplace? And I'll get to why, but consider this. I wrote down, rule number one in marketing is know your customer. So then you're not spamming. You're speaking directly to them. Your marketing message gets right to their heart, gets right to their head. And we've all seen it before. Like, remember when Chase, the bank Chase, would go, we're Chase, bank with us. And we'd all go, who gives a shit, right? Because it was just to everybody. But when Chase started running, if you're a small business owner, we understand your needs. If cash flow gets tight, you want to have your Chase account that's going to give you the flexibility to draw on it when you need it and grow it when you're ready. And all of a sudden we were like, whoa, Chase, right? It was a beautiful example of me marketing, which the vast majority of people aren't doing because they're not declaring an expertise. Now, I wrote down the following. You ready? If you really, really think about this expertise thing, I know, like, obviously, empty nesters, investors, understanding who your client is, high-end, low-end, mid-range, blue-collar, doesn't make a difference to me, first-time buyer, move-up buyer, we all know the options. What are you the expert of? And then I wrote down, the bigger, though, issue is not just identifying who the client is and what your expertise is, but it's going a level further and asking yourself, what are their pain points? What are the biggest challenges they face? What are the biggest problems they have? You see, I know for me, it's time. So if you understood that someone like me, a busy executive, time is my biggest issue, I don't have time to go look at houses. And if you could market to me in a way that says, look, I'll go take the time so you don't have to. I'll scour the internet and I'll look at the 75 homes that are on the market and I'll whittle it down to the 3 that matter most to you, because most of my clients, they just don't have the time. Boy, you give me that marketing message and hallelujah, you're speaking to me, you're an expert. Does that make sense? So here's what I wrote down. The biggest challenge you're going to face, the biggest challenge, you're going to get nervous and say, but Tom, if I declare an expertise, then I could lose all the other business. I just met, and I can't say the gentleman's name, but he's a $60 million a year producer in Laguna Beach, California. If you're watching right now, buddy, I won't say your name, but we were, together in a cone of silence, very open conversation about his business. He works a small piece, a community in Laguna Beach on the ocean, and he dominates it. 16, 17 transactions a year, big average sales price. And I said to him, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Why don't you go out of that? His problem is the opposite. He's gone so deep in his expertise, he forgot that all the people around him actually want to do more business with him because he's the expert of this area. He has declared himself the brain surgeon of this community. And as soon as I said to him, I go, do you get phone calls that ever go like this? Hey, name, we know you really dominate or work this area, but my friend wants to buy a house over here. I know it's only $1 million deal, but would you work it? He goes, I get those phone calls all the time. He goes, it's half my business. He said, if I didn't get those, I'd be dead. See, that's what happens when you declare your expertise. When you got your map, your transactions, when you're showing the consumers, this is my business, here's my reviews, this is everything that's going on, and you're totally transparent in real time on your phone, my friends, you're going to win. So, my second question for you strategically is, what are you going to declare as your expertise? What are you going to declare? And if you don't, just go with me. If you don't go full blown, will you just promise me, you won't be a generalist? If you're gonna be an expert of your city, is that okay? Yes, it is. If you are a master of pricing, the numbers, the trends, who's buying, demographics, social graphics, if you understand, as many of my clients do in New York City, in the different boroughs, they can talk strategically about pricing and buildings and units and everything. But you gotta be that expert, my friends, and when you are, people wanna work with you all day, every day. Now, I wrote down the following. Ready? Number 3, because I'm enough on this. You know, you could be the master of move-up buyers, first-time buyers, marketing to sell for top dollar, selling luxury properties, selling, specific communities, geographic farm, the whole 9 yards. You get it. Number 1 is reviews. Number 2 is expertise. Number 3, 99% of you need to do this immediately. Consider the following. You ready? Because this works for everybody. Brand new agents, 40-year veterans. I wrote down number 3 strategy change. Start to display and make shareable how consumers choose agents on the most important social media sites, what you do. Let me say it to you again. Rule number 1 is stay top of mind with your customers. I'm telling you, you need a simple way for you to share your activities, what you're doing that is relatable and important to the consumers about housing. Not just your Instagram photo of you hanging out at the beach or your Facebook post, God bless it, with your daughter. All that's important too, but don't we also want to display what we're doing in our business in a way that's meaningful, that shows our customers that we're an expert? The answer is yes, we do. So here's what I wrote down. That's what I love about Relola. That's what intrigued me when I first met Heather. Heather, the Berkshire Hathaway convention, you guys were over here, my team was over there. My team walks up and goes, you gotta meet Heather, this Relola thing. It's really awesome, it's sophisticated, it's techy, but it's really about getting the word out and using a time that agents spend every single day that they think is a waste of time, that they're activating and turning into a money-making opportunity. And I was like, I love questions. So I was all over it. So check this out. Here's what I love about Relola. Write this in your notes. Once and for all, we can finally maximize the one thing every single one of us does, but when we do it, we get little to no marketing, exposure, expertise, leads, and opportunities from. Do you know what it is? Now, I know for a lot of my Relola users, you're like, oh, of course, I know exactly what he's talking about. Hello. Here's the deal. Do you know that on Relola, you can preview houses? Something we all do every day. Maybe some of you only do it on Wednesdays or Tuesdays or Thursdays on Caravan. But everybody previews houses. Maria calls and says, hi, I want to buy a house. We say, great. I'm coming into town. Let me go look. Or, hey, I'm kind of like looking at these 15 properties. Would you take the time and let's look at these? Or you're just a good agent who previews before you go show houses, right? So we're all previewing. The challenge, though, is it's an opportunity and it's time spent where you're not getting social promotion, marketing, displaying yourself as the expert, showing people, staying top of mind on all the social media sites easy, and that's what Relola does. So check it out. Here's what I wrote down. With Relola, you go preview a house, you don't do it on 15 houses on Caravan Day, but you do it on 2 or 3 that are interesting to your clientele, and you write an insight. Beautiful floor plan, love the ocean views, spectacular home, certainly for the move-up buyer. You write something about the home, and you all know how to do that because we do it all day long, every day. And you write it in 2 seconds, and boom, you hit a button, and boom, Maria, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, and it's on Twitter. Now, if you did it 15 times and you previewed 15 homes, and you did that, you'd have 15 of these things, and we all know you'd be overdoing it on your page, but instead, 2, 3 properties once a week, and now all of a sudden, in between the family photos and the fun and the new listing you just promoted, they're seeing the map of all the properties you previewed. They're seeing the area that you're the expert of, and they're reading your insights about all the properties you've seen. Now, I think it was Zillow that said the #1 reason they're selecting an agent is local market knowledge. Now, I don't know if Heather and the team at Relola understood this before they launched, but because that report just came out, but it is startling to me how easy this is, and that every one of us should be doing this as a strategic change. So write that in your notes. Plus, here's what's cool. It goes on Facebook, it goes on Twitter, it goes on Instagram, so all your friends see it. But also, again, remember NAR, Zillow, and Real Trends, what they shared about consumers, you become the local expert online. That's a no-brainer. But here's what I wrote down. You ready? What I also love about it is that it also goes to your page. So on your website, now you see all this. And guess what, my friends? At the end of the day, we're in a content marketing game. Whoever creates the best content on houses, on housing, becomes the local expert, becomes the market winner. You add reviews, you add your expertise, you add the 2 things I'm going to talk about and the 1 secret I'm going to give you today, and you immediately position yourself by doing just a little bit smarter work, not more work, smarter work, and you win. So write this in your notes. And I know maybe for my peeps, because I know all the Relola peeps that are on right now, you guys are already in all this, so I'm sharing this with my peeps. Go to relola.com. Relola.com. Relola. That's my mother-in-law's name. I love it. Lola. Relola.com. Check out the Superstar package that they're offering. They gave me a little promo code for all of you, so check this out. Promo code is New Year 25. One word. New Year and the number 25. New Year 25. That's the promo code. They're going to give you 25% off the Superstar package. Strongly recommend you do it. I just wrote down, remember, more of the same only get you more of the same, my friends. The consumer is changing. This is a no-brainer opportunity for all of you. So today, tomorrow, today, Relola.com, Superstar package, type in New Year 25, take advantage of it. You're gonna dig it. All right, so those are the 3 strategic changes. Now I'm gonna go very behavioral, very tactical, let's assume, this is like the guy that I was meeting with in Laguna a couple days ago. I'm gonna be super direct with you as a coach, right? So for a lot of my coaching clients, you're gonna be like, okay, all right, this is where he's gonna tell me if I don't align my behaviors with my goals, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For my friends that have never worked with me before, here's what I see all the time. Tom, I wanna sell 18 homes a year, right? And this is you looking at your goal, I wanna do 18, and then I watch your behaviors, I watch your routines, and they're going this way. You with me on this? Do you know some people that say this but do the opposite? Say this but don't follow through, don't do what it takes? Diet, relationships, religion, saving money, making their calls, building their business. It's all about aligning your behaviors. So as a business coach, I'm going to talk to you very tactically. Right, John, there's 2 tips, 2 changes in your behavior that I want all of you to make. 2 obvious money-making shifts. They're going to get your business moving forward and quickly. So write down number 1. Write down know and act on your daily number. I got to take a quick sip of water. Know and act on your daily number. My son is a tennis player. So I'm sitting with my son Steven and we're talking about the strategy of winning. And just so you know, there was another behavior that I was looking for him to make called clean your room. No surprise, Maria's laughing, from a 15-year-old boy. I'm like, you should clean your room. And he's like, oh, Dad, I don't want to clean my room. I'm like, son, when you're playing tennis, do you know where to serve, when to serve, how hard to serve, when to change it up? Do you have shot selection that you know when you hit those shots, the odds are you're gonna make a point and you're gonna win? He goes, of course, Dad, that's tennis. That's like, I'm like, no, son, that's life. That's life. You see, in life, I know this. If you control your weight, you control your money, and you control your environment, you control your weight, you control your money, and you control your environment, it's the same thing as having a big serve, a great forehand, a great, chip shot to win. Sports and life, it's exactly the same, son. I just want you to have the winning behaviors. When I was talking to a client recently in Laguna, I said to him, you're a volleyball player. You know that there's certain things that you do that cause you to win, and when you don't do them, you lose. He goes, you're exactly right. I said, well, guess what? The number one thing that moves the needle in an agent's real estate business, in any sales profession, is to know and act on your daily number, and when you do that, your business flies. And when you can connect that your daily number is exactly like working out at the gym, going to church and praying, doing your daily gratitudes, controlling your weight, controlling your money, controlling your environment, doing any one of the success principles we all know, you win. You win, and you win big. So let me give you the formula. Write this down in your notes. And I'm going to actually, Maria, I'm going to write it on the wall. So tell me if you can see this okay. So you take your transaction goal, and if you're only like on the audio, you're just going to hear me. You take your transaction goal, and I'm going to say, let's just say it's 18 transactions. So you say, I want to sell 18 deals. You know, they could be all listings, they could be all buyers. I don't care. You want 18 closings, 18 checks. What we know, and a lot of research will tell you, is that it's about 50 conversations to one sale. So if I go 18 times 50 conversations, I have to talk to 900 people in 1 year to guarantee my success. 900 people in 1 year. Now, you might be saying, Tom, I don't like prospecting. And I said, did I tell you to prospect? No, I said you have to have 900 people. Like you have to have 900 conversations. Could that be an open house? Could that be someone in your database? Could that be a lead? Could that be something like, hey, I was just on your Relola page and I saw that you previewed all these houses. We're interested in looking at that. Like that's a prospecting call. It could be you standing in line at Starbucks with your company name badge on and someone says, hey, you're in real estate, how's the market? And you're smart enough to not say, the market's great, but you know the best script ever is, you know, that really depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, invest, or rent? Because each of those markets are very different. Which part of the market are you interested in? And they go, oh, I'm just kind of curious about the overall market. And I'm not going to give you the script yet because I have an even better set of questions. That's my little secret for you. But watch this. 900 people in a year to make 18 transactions, probably times your average commission of at least $10,000, $180,000 to talk to 900 people. But you don't have to do it like on a Tuesday. Here's the reality. We divide that by 10 months because no one in real estate actually works 12. So that means we got to talk to 90 people a month. And you know what our studies show? You're already talking to 100. You're already talking to 100. You're probably not asking the right questions, which I'm going to give you some questions. So if you ask the right questions and you talk to the right number of people, the law of averages will move the needle up. You'll get more appointments, you'll get more listings, you'll get more sales. It happens every time, my friends. Just like the sun setting in the west, right? The sun doesn't just suddenly set in the east. It doesn't work that way. The law of numbers always apply. So you got 90 people a month. I say divide that by 20, and guess what that equals? 4.5. Now, you can't have a half a conversation. I always say, to be smart, roll the number up and then make it an even number. And you'll see why in a minute. Make it an even number. So you go, whoa, that went from 4.5 to 6. And I say, right. Now, in fairness, I want to do 18. What if I want to do 36? Well, the number's 12 a day. I want to do 72 sales. The number's 24 a day. It's just math. All my coaching clients know, once they know their daily number, Tim Smith, big shout out to Tim Smith, Coldwell Banker, Previews, Newport Beach, California, longtime personal client, great agent, #1 in Orange County for all of Coldwell Banker. He and his team, their number isn't 50, it's more like 37. Every 37 people they talk to, they sell a house. My friends, it's so predictable. That's the beauty of this. Start with the baseline of 50, know your daily number, and then here's the key, my friends. The key is half of the 6 or 12 or 24 or whatever number yours is based upon the formula, half are to your database, staying top of mind, staying connected, you know, every 90 days, how's it going? And I'll give you some great, you know, questions. And then half, my friends, half to new people. People you met at an open house. People that went to your Relola page and saw your insights and reached out to you. People that inquired with something on Facebook and then you reached out and you text them or you made a phone call. People that you met in Starbucks. There's no wrong way to do it, my friends. If you're the hyper-local expert agent and you're doing all the right things, including this, you're going to win in 2017 is going to be amazing. You got to commit. You got to commit. I always tell people all the time, interested and committed. Interested and committed. A lot of people are interested in being successful. They're interested in being top of mind. They're interested in getting more referrals. They're interested in making more money. But you know what? Interested people, they only do what they're supposed to do when when it's convenient. Do you know people like that? Like they work out when it's convenient. They make their phone calls when it's convenient. They're nice to their family when it's convenient. They're just interested versus you and I, committed. Committed people they do whatever it takes no matter what. Because we understand this. Please write this down. This was probably the most talked about, most quoted Maria from last year, Tom Ferry show and everything else. Heather knows this, she loves this. The whole team at Relola gets it because they do it every day. Write this in your notes. Routine is the sign of an ambitious individual. Routine is the sign of an ambitious individual. Routine is the sign. So if you are ambitious, following a routine like this is natural and automatic. If you're not ambitious, if you don't have desire, if you don't have big goals, if you don't want for more, if you don't want to serve more customers, bring more value to the marketplace, be competitive, be relevant, zzz, ding, 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 be the fly. Keep trying harder. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. More of the same, more of the same, more of the same, and let me know how that works out. Let me know how that works out. Like, I've been doing this for 28 years. I know the formula. You with me? Number 2, really important. Actually, let's go over here, Maria. I want to write this one down too. Number 2, speaking of routines, if I said to you, there is one routine that causes our clients to shine, and our clients make an average of, last year, $387,000 on average, and this year we already know, like from the actual numbers at the end of the year, it's going to be even higher than that, and we've got, you know, hundreds of people making $1 million a year. Do you think a person who earns $1 million a year selling real estate follows a different routine from an agent that makes $100,000? What do you think? I mean, heart it up, give me some likes. I mean, on Facebook, let me know, because I know, but you might be hallucinating. Someone that makes $100,000 a year has a certain routine. Someone that makes $1 million a year has a different routine, especially if the same agents are in the same office with the same average sales price, and one makes $1 million and one makes $100,000. My friends, show me your routines and I will show you the future of your business. Show me your routines with your children and I'll show you how you're going to raise them and how they're going to feel about you. Show me your routines in the gym and I'm going to show you the results you're going to get. It's all about routines, about having the right success routines. Ready? Routine is the sign of an ambitious individual. The most important routine I would bet on you in 2017, I call MRAS. MRAS. Very simple. You ready? MRAS is 20 minutes every morning on your marketing. 20 minutes every morning where I say, are the emails going out? How does my website look? Is it converting well? Does it look good on a phone versus a desktop? Did my direct mail go out? Are my listing promotions happening? Am I prepared for my big open house this week? I'm making sure that I'm staying top of mind, whether it's with my IDX drip campaigns or my social posts or my live videos. My friends, this whole game, Peter Drucker Business 101, all business is marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation. And what I find is too often agents don't have in their routine 20, 30 minutes of marketing 5-6 days a week to make sure that you're staying top of mind, that you're staying relevant, that you're doing the things you need to do to have your customers go, there she is, there he is, I'm in. So marketing, 20 minutes. The next one, 15 minutes, just 15 minutes of the one thing you all do, you just need to do it on your clients, which is practice, is role-playing, is practice. Both my sons, now 15 and 17, the elementary school they went to in 2nd grade, they both had to make 4-minute presentations in front of the entire class. And the winner got moved up, and if you did well enough out of all the 4th grade or whatever classes it was, they all, right, the winners got selected and they got to do that talk in front of the entire school. Well, I'm not shocked that my son won, but he was the only kid who I said, we're going to grab your note cards, and while every other kid is going to do this, hello, I want to talk to you about George Washington, and they would read their script and they're reading their notes and they're feeling totally uncomfortable, which is how most people present when they're talking to a buyer or seller, especially if they throw an objection, a question you don't have the answer to, something you don't like, something you're out of control with. You know what I made him do? Practice, 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 practice. Role play, role play, role play, role play. So when he got up on stage, school, right, in front of his classmates, Michael, right? My son Michael, who's delivered on stage at the summit now and helped raise $82,000 last year at our summit for breast cancer awareness because he can get on stage. He practiced over and over and over again and he presented with power. If you're not practicing every day with your peers, with your friends, by yourself, looking in the mirror, The scarier thing is you're practicing on your clients. Holy, could you imagine my friend who's a brain surgeon saying, well, we're trying some new techniques and I'm going to test it out on you. I know you're alive. You weren't planning on living, were you? Because I'm going to practice my brain surgery on you. No, you would be like, look, get a cadaver, right? Like, pay attention. You got people all over your office that if you just said, hey, you know what? There's 3 objections I get all the time. People are worried about my fees. People want to know what I do differently to get the home sold versus the competition. And people always have a friend in the business. Can I just role play some objection handlers with you? Write this down. Go to tomferry.com/success. tomferry.com/success. Business plan, marketing samples, more free stuff than you will know what to do with yourself. But most importantly, get the script book. Get the script book. Now, I'm not saying you got to follow the script verbatim and be a robot. No. You got to add your personality in. You got to add your style in, your finesse, right? If Heather from Merlola was doing this right now, her and I present differently. She presents as Heather, I present as Tom, right? But Heather knows how to present, and she understands what she does, and she knows how to deliver value, and she practices over and over again, and you should too. All the best in the world practice. All the best. I'm just asking for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes of marketing, 15 minutes of role playing, and you can probably guess what this one is. It's appointment setting. It's when I'm gonna make my 6, my 12, my 18 conversations, my 24 conversations every day. We call it your hour of power or your hours of power. Now here's what I know, my friends. When you're doing this, and I know you're gonna do it, because you wouldn't be on this at 5:30 or whatever it is in the East Coast or wherever you are, maybe my friends in Europe watching, Australia, good morning, right? All my friends, you know this. You do your marketing, you get it right, you do your role playing, you warm up, you get on the phone, you don't just make the calls. Look at the law of attraction, old school. Remember the movie The Secret? Oh, focus on what you want. I want a Ferrari. Oh, and it's going to happen. Well, they made it sound kind of silly, but the law of attraction is simply this. It's really the reticular activating system in the back of all of our minds, this beautiful thing that every human being was born with. Here's what it says. Whatever you think about most, you attract. Whatever you think about most, you attract. Think about it. You're like, I'm going to get a new car. So Maria says, I'm going to get a new car. I'm like, oh, what are you going to get? I'm thinking about a Lexus. What color? White. What does she see everywhere for 3 weeks? What happens? You're like, Lexus, 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 Lexus. You're like, that's a Mercedes and it even looks like a Lexus. That's a Tesla. I'm going to make it look like, because it was white. Your mind, my friends, is either your enemy or it's your friend. It's your friend if you say, when I get on the phone, I'm here to set appointments. You're not here to do chicken scratches on a piece of paper and say I got through my 6 conversations or my 3 conversations or my 8 conversations. No. The only thing you should be focusing on is setting appointments. So I'm calling with the intention to get a coffee meeting. I'm calling with the intention to get a listing appointment. I'm calling with the intention to get a referral. Then I'm calling that referral to get an appointment. If you focus on appointments, my friends, everything flies. Jason Ferris, we should post it maybe sometime today. One of our coaching members set a goal for 225 listing appointments last year, 225, and I don't want to misquote the numbers, but he failed miserably. He only got like 205 appointments set, doing his morning routine, his MRAS, 205 appointments set, only listed like Maria, like 147, 7 listed with another agent, a bunch of people canceled the appointment before he got there, and like 34 of them still are waiting, which means he still got a shot. The reason why, and Jason, if you're watching, bro, so proud of you. I mean, my goodness, there's so many of you, yourself, and so many of these amazing women we work with, and all these extraordinary guys. You guys all know, when you focus on appointments, you get appointments. And you and I, my friends, we all know that's the game. The more I'm face-to-face with buyers and sellers, the more I win. So, I gave you 3 strategies. I gave you 2 tips. I'm going to give you 1 script, and then if time permits, I'm going to share a secret, but only for those of you that are hanging out with me. So you ready? So here is the script. Write down these 3 questions. These 3 questions will unlock your database and find you more listings, more opportunities than you will know what to do with. And when you use these 3 questions with every person you meet, everywhere you go, the gardener, the person at Starbucks, the person in line at Costco, everybody on the soccer field, how's the market? Well, it's great. Let me ask you a question. Boom. Here's the 3 questions. Write down number 1. Hey, have you had any thoughts of selling? Have you had any, now if you're watching me live on Facebook, you see me nodding yes. Have you guys had any thoughts of selling? Have you had any thoughts of selling? And they're like, no, we love our house, no, we kind of like it here. And you're like, oh, that's great. Are you living in your dream home now? That's the second question. Are you living in your dream home now? Now, what do you think happens to the person when you say, Maria, have you guys had any thoughts of selling? Like, nah, we like our house. Were you living in your dream home now? They go, she just started nodding immediately. No, we'd like more backyard. We'd like bigger space. We want bigger bedrooms. I want more walk-in closets. I don't want to share the bathroom with my husband. Oh, so let me ask you. Third question, at what price would you become a seller? At what price would you become a seller? My friends, when you use those 3 questions, you're going to win, and you're going to win big. Question number 1, have you had any thoughts of selling? Question number 2, are you living in your dream home now? Question number 3, at what price would you become a seller? I promise you, my friends, when you do that, you are going to freak. So, before I give you the secret, let's recap. Did I say recap? That's hysterical. That's what I love about live. So let's recap, shall we? Or we can recap. So I said to you that more of the same is only going to get you more of the same. And like the story of the fly, if your strategy for 2017 to have your best year ever is try harder, you're going to lose. I shared with you the consumer behavior continues to shift, and it shifts in the favor of the agents that are smart, that are getting their message out online, being the expert, writing insights, using tools like the Relola Superstar, getting your reviews up. Those are the agents that are going to continue to win the consumer of the future and the consumer of 2017. Listen, my friends, if you've staked your entire career on working by referral only, I don't even have to tell you, you know how harder it's getting. If you don't make the strategic change and adjust to 2017, to 2018, to 2019, I'm not saying you're going to be out of business. I'm just saying you're going to be less relevant to the now 70 to 75% of consumers that are finding their agent online. Look, you're going to preview property anyway. Snap a photo and write an insight. Pull down the thing from the MLS and put it under yours and snap a photo, write an insight, post it, have it automatically go to your website. It goes up on your Relola map. It's going to go on your Facebook page, your Instagram. Don't overdo it. Don't be crazy and do 7 properties in a day. It's going to be overwhelming. Do 2 or 3 properties that are unique, that are special, and write something great about them. And then share it with all your friends. Stay top of mind. Don't let the $15 billion ad spend get your customers to go there, get your customers to stay with you. Does that make sense? Change what you're doing, or guess what, my friends? You know what's going to happen. Then I said, know your daily number and act on it. Then I said, have the routine, marketing, role play, and appointment setting. You do that, plus the script I just gave you, you're gonna win. So I'm gonna give you the secret. You ready? First of all, Relola.com, Superstar. What was the deal again? They have to go New Year 25. New Year 25, 25, get 25% off. Strong, especially for my peeps, because I know a lot of Relola members, like, you're already in this and you've already done it, you've already signed up. For all my peeps, go do that. Strong, 2 very strong recommendation. If you need scripts, go to tomferry.com/success. Get all that stuff for free. Take advantage of it. Don't wing it. What you say matters to customers to win. So here's my secret. You ready? Over the holidays, day after Christmas, I call my little brother Patrick. Patrick, how's it going, buddy? He's selling real estate down in Carlsbad. He and his wife and his father-in-law, and they had a good year last year. Sold like 45 homes. Made a bunch of money. Super happy. Cute baby, 20 months old, perfect real estate couple, right? I say, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm on the MLS right now. I go, really? What are you looking at? He goes, dude, we're brothers. He's from San Diego. Dude, there are so many expireds right now. It's bananas. And I'm like, I know. I've talked to a whole bunch of our clients. They're all saying the same thing. He goes, but I want to give you. He goes, this is what I'm thinking. He goes, I know. There's people that they work all the expireds. Like, some of you immediately shut down the moment I said expired. You're like, I don't like expired. Shut up. Listen to me. Patrick said, there's people that work expireds. That's what they do. They're ninjas, right? And they just call every single one of them, and they're really good at role playing, and they're great at objection handling, and they've got their measurable degrees of separation, and they win. He said, I can do that. But you know what I love to do, Tom? I'm like, what? He goes, I love cherry picking. I'm like, cherry picking? That's like taking the cream of the crop, right? Like, you mean like you're just gonna go into the MLS, you're gonna look at all the expired, all the cancels, all the withdrawns, and you're only going to market yourself to the ones you want? He goes, ding, 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 ding. So guess what? Cherry picking. It's cherry picking season. If you want a secret, you want to take 3 or 4 listings in the next 30, 60, 90 days, depending upon the client's motivation and how many people you decide to cherry pick, run to your MLS as soon as we're done. Go in and go back to December 15th to today and pull up all the cancels, all the withdrawals, all the expireds, and look at the overwhelming number of people that selected an agent who wasn't strong like you, who didn't price it correctly. You know, maybe it was the high end and the election in the US, you know, created some nuttiness in the high end market. I get it, but everything else was rolling. And you know what you're gonna find? He had hundreds. I'm talking to clients all over the place in the US that are like, cherry picking. This is unbelievable. 3 calls, got an appointment, went and knocked on a few doors and got an appointment, got a listing. And you know what, my friends? You should do the same. So as we wrap up, I know it's 3:02 here in the West, it means it's like 6 o'clock in the East. I want to say to my friends at Relola, Heather and the team, God bless you guys. Thank you for doing what you're doing. For all my friends that joined us, I'm a little fired up right now. So I'm sure on this video, I was like turning red at times because I am just like, I don't know, Maria, I just am so bullish. I'm bullish on you, my friends. I'm a trend guy. I like the trends. And the hottest trend I'm thinking about right now is you. You being the trend. You're the stock I want to invest in because your upside is dun 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 dun. It is like Superman, Superwoman-esque, but only when you align your behaviors and change to win with the consumer. So as I sign off, listen, Relola.com, superstar, go to tomferry.com, download all my free stuff. Let's make sure that 2017 is our best year ever. I'll be looking for comments and feedback and questions, and I'll make sure I do that tonight and tomorrow. But I want to just sign off by